attention now to the Supreme Court and their narrow 5-4 decision on a travel ban that is going to affect at least 7 countries. 5 of those countries named are mostly Muslim majority countries. The latest version of the travel ban, though, includes North Korea and Venezuela. Some are calling the bill unconstitutional, but the administration says that the bill is not about religious discrimination. Byron Henry is an appellate attorney and focuses a lot on constitutional issues. With this, Byron, I wanted to know, were you surprised by the vote?
Well, I wasn't surprised that the travel ban was upheld today, because prior to this, the court had issued a stay, which takes 5 votes in order to let the travel ban go into effect. So we kind of had a preview that at least 5 justices were inclined to uphold the travel ban. That vote's not binding, of course, but that lets you know there were 5 votes, and in fact, those 5 votes looks like they were the 5 that voted in the majority today. I was a little bit surprised by the fact that the court, the dissent focused mainly on the First Amendment issues and didn't even join the battle on the statutory issues, which I thought might have been the strongest for the plaintiffs in the case. But in any event, the court upheld the travel ban in toto on a 5-4 vote, dismissing all of the plaintiffs' arguments.
Another thing is that the Supreme Court justices then, with this vote, gave the president the right to be able to make this kind of decision. I think that is something that surprised people.
Well, the court used a number of examples of other presidents issuing similar, not identical, of course, executive orders or proclamations regarding allowing people entry into the country. Traditionally, Congress has what's called plenary or unchecked power with respect to matters of immigration, and because they delegated some of that authority to the president when he decided that he needs more information or there might be detrimental harm to the United States interests, because Congress delegated that authority almost entirely to the president in a lot of cases, the court said it wasn't the court's place to place additional conditions on that power since Congress hadn't placed the conditions. So that is why the court did not go further and start reviewing, the details of every single case or the waiver program or different issues, because they felt like Congress had pretty much left it up to the president to decide who to let in and who not under that authority.
Moving forward then, Byron, do you see this as being the final decision, or will there be more litigation on this, on the travel ban specifically in the future?
I don't believe there's anything left on the travel ban. The court slammed the door on First Amendment challenges. The court slammed the door on the court's ability to look behind the president's stated reasons in the order itself, in the proclamation. There may be an issue with the way the waiver program is being administered, whether or not it's complying with administrative and the law itself. Other than some individual case that deserves a waiver or is exempt from the travel ban, an individual being treated that way, I think there's probably no more litigation on this travel ban. And as the court noted today, some of the countries are dropping off as they comply with the State Department's request for information. So there may not be a travel ban by virtue of the fact that all of the countries that are listed in the travel ban become compliant with State Department requirements.
Let me ask you this then. What about the people from these countries who have been waiting to get to the United States? Is this going to keep them permanently from getting here?
On this decision, the president is within his authority to basically prohibit those individuals from those countries from entering unless they meet an exemption or a waiver. And there is a significant waiver process. There was some dispute in the opinion on how it's being administered. That's why I mentioned that earlier. But if they can meet the exemptions or the waiver requirements, they can still come to this country. Otherwise, until their country comes off the list, the State Department list of countries that do not meet the requirements necessary to vet people coming to this country, they will not be able to travel to the country.
Okay, and this isn't directly tied into immigration, but I'm going to stray just a little bit, and your legal counsel on this, or your input on it, is amazing, but what I'm wondering is your personal opinion on everything that's happening in the country with the background that you have on immigration, the divide that it is really making across the nation. I just kind of wanted to see what your thoughts were on immigration as a whole.
Well, there's two flavors of this, or two views I have on this. First of all, I cannot stand the conflation between those that would basically conflate legal immigration with those who attempt to enter the country illegally, whether it's at the southern border or however they do it. I think they're completely different issues and problems. We have a broken legal immigration system as well. We need certain specialists and people to be able to come into this country. We're very stingy with those type of visas. That needs to be revamped. And of course, as you know, we need a complete overhaul of our illegal immigration system about keeping people out of the country. But the problem I see is that when you kick the can down the road, which is what Congress has done, and continually use it as an election item, both parties, it has consequences when Congress refuses to exercise its authority. There's a vacuum. And because the president has so much discretion delegated by the last Immigration Act, the president is going to step in and fill that vacuum by issuing executive orders in what he believes is in the necessary security of the United States. And because Congress continues to kick the can down the road, that's why everything has come to a head. And once again, the parties are using it as a midterm election, something to campaign on instead of fixing the problem. So I don't see it getting better anytime soon.
Yeah, and sadly, these families are caught in the middle, and that's the biggest disparity in all of this. It breaks my heart that it even is becomes so political. But Byron, I really appreciate your input on this and your time.
My pleasure.
All righty, thanks.